and we are going to continue with this wonderful evening, and you guys have been a wonderful audience. Our third speaker is our mentor, our uncle, a great and amazing father, and that's not in his bio because they will never send that stuff. When we ask people for their bios, he's a community leader that I've had the privilege of knowing for over 20 years. And he's always been there to give us exactly what you need to hear when you need to hear it. He is the king of affirmations and believing in young people. And before I started public speaking, one of the first things I did was a poem about Somalia, and he heard it, and he told me, I love it. It's amazing. It's epic, so much so that he put me in his conference. And that was over 20 years ago, believe it or not. I don't even think I had his style, my 18-year-old. He actually bought me one of my first gifts when I got married. So yeah, I did it in the right order. Don't worry. That's okay. I'm a comedian. You can laugh. Brother Saeed Ali Ahmed from Ottawa, Canada, has served as a technical advisor for the federal government of Canada for over 22 years, leading the development of complicated technical infrastructure. Beyond his professional career, Saeed has been committed and an advocate within the Somali Canadian community. He served as the chair of the Somali Association of North America, and he has also held pivotal board positions at Human Concern International. Also, he is the chair and founder of the Somali Canadian Scholarships. Believe it or not, he also, don't know where he finds the time, has been the teacher, Quran teacher, for like thousands of Somali women. Because I'm in several of their WhatsApp groups, as I never have time to attend the classes. I'm working on it. But I love you so much, Adar Sheikh Saeed. Please come up here. We are privileged to have you.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad. So, me and Habiba, I know since she has no children, so you can understand. I know how much she may have more children than me. So inshallah, and I think I was supposed to go before Sister Amira, but Sister Amira she was supposed to go somewhere. She has busier schedule than myself, right? So inshallah, I am the last, maybe speakers. Maybe there are some other speakers, but maybe I'm the last one, those official speakers, right? And I think I'm between you and the dinner, so the last one speaker always the most boring one anyway. And people don't like, because I told them I'm not going to speak if you distribute food, right? And inshallah, for that, inshallah, my speech will be short. So, bismillah. I normally have been I've been told to talk about what need of Somali community, right? And need of Somali community, she said I'm technical advisor, right? I do programming. Normally I do programming, so there's no relation between programming and needs of Somali community. I think, but what I'm going to share with you is not something that I learned from books. Some learn that I learned through life experience. I'm here for the last 30 plus years. I was a young man when I came here. And since then I was an activist, in the sense of a social activist. Sometimes I'm a teacher, but before even start teaching, I was a community leader. I don't know, most of you don't know this community called Somali North American Association, I forget even. But maybe most of people here are kids, or maybe they were not even here in this country. So through those 30 years, I learned a lot of things. And what I'm going to share with you, I think I was, in a sense, I was lucky to go after Sister Amira, because what I'm going to tell you is more practical things, right? I think she shared in perspective of what Muslims face this country, what discrimination is, what they need. But inshallah, I will go a little bit farther. I'm going to say what Somali community, I think maybe it's wrong to say Somali community. I think what I'm going to share with you is what all the minority community need. The recent arrived refugee brothers from Syria or maybe Palestine or different places, or maybe those of us who are here a long time, like 30, 40 years maybe. I think that's what I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to, inshallah, make as short as possible, inshallah. Because I don't like Sister Habiba, maybe she will not come here to me. She said because he was my sheikh and all those things, so she might not come, right? But inshallah, I used to teach, I used to have a program in the Somali radio for almost 20 years. And what I learned through that program was I have 5 minutes to speak and address a complex issues for 5 minutes. And we Somali, we normally oral society, we talk, right? Right. So when you say 5 minutes, it's very difficult. I think originally, it was maybe around, how much? It was 20 minutes, but I'm going to, inshallah, make as much as possible. So and maybe I'm not even using these slides. Somali community in Canada are one of the largest African, when you call them members, they are the largest community when it comes to African, people who are from Africa anyway, black community. They are the largest. You can disagree. I don't know, those of you who work for maybe Somali Center, you can disagree, but I think that's what the statistics tells, right? They are the largest African, original who settle in Canada. And as such, we have a unique challenge. And those unique challenges also need a unique solution, right? Because when you have a unique challenge, you also need a unique solution, right? So we need those. I think I'm going to share with you some of those unique solutions. I'm going to share with you four. If my slides allow me, I think I have some challenge with my slides. But I think I put together four things, right? So for those four things, not to talk about a lot of things that I'm going to say the first thing that especially visible minority and the minority communities need is social and community support, what I call social and community support. Somalis and also those visible minority, they need strong community structures that promotes, and this is very important, that promotes integration. I don't say assimilation because there's a difference between assimilation and integration. We say we need Somalis need a strong community structure that promotes integration while preserving the rich cultural heritage. So we are here now for rich cultural heritage, right? So we need an organization like this organization who can preserve, right? Who can promote integration while also preserving. We have a rich cultural heritage who can preserve. The second thing, like we need community centers, right? And spaces for a social, cultural, and religious gathering. Those are very important. And then we need spaces. These spaces can foster unity, and they can provide mentorship opportunity and help address like social isolation, especially for the newcomers and the youth. So the problem I have right now, we have, as Muslims, we have a masjids, we have a centers, but I think we can critique those centers and masjids sometime. I don't feel that the youth are welcome to these centers sometimes. They don't feel it. They are welcome. Maybe if they show up, maybe there will be a fight sometime. So we need those kind of centers, right, where we can foster, unity and provide mentorship, opportunity, and help address their problems like social isolation, especially for the newcomer and the youth. So that's the first one. The second thing that we need, the first one was community, strong community structure. I think the second thing we need is healthcare. And healthcare, especially mental health. And I spent actually many of those seminars. I participate as a religious scholar, right? Some of those mental health. But healthcare is a human right. Yet many Somali Canadians still have problem facing barrier to access. And I don't say most of Somalis, maybe Somalis are here right now, but still they have faced, some of them are still facing access. Especially, I think healthcare has problem in Canada anyway, but they face, and I think mental health in particular is very important. And then most of the Somalis, or even these minority communities, they need, right? Mental health is particularly a pressing thing. And what we need is we need a Somali-speaking counselors, right, who can provide health care We need awareness program, right, to reduce around the mental health of the community. And we need support material for the mothers and the newcomers. So that's another important thing. Healthcare is very important. And it's difficult. I recently have some issue and I go through the system. The system is not bad, but how to access is very bad in Canada. We know 30% or 40% of people, how many millions do not even have a primary, care provider. But once you start, maybe it's good. Canada is good when you go to the specialists. But before that, it's very difficult. But the people do not even, and the mental health problem itself needs, I have some well-experienced brothers and sisters here who can address this issue. But we need to address the issue of mental health, especially stigmatization that a lot of people has, especially the community where I came, where just we know Nimwalan, Yokof Aklele, right? We know only these two people who have mentally fit so we need to address especially the mental health issue, especially when you hear like 20 years, 30 years, then when this problem is come up. And I think those of you who work through the community associations, it's a very difficult issue to talk about it. But that's what we did. The third thing, this is very important, to me anyway. Youth and identity challenges. When I came here, we Somalis, I don't know others, we used to face problems like drug, school problems with the youth. But I believe now, as I'm a statistician I graduated as in statistics. So numbers make a lot of sense to me. I don't believe now the number of young British, especially male Somalis, who are failing academically or even going to this lifestyle, selling drugs, or I think they are not as high as they was beginning of 90s or even 2000s. Why? Because the level of, economic level of the Somali community changed. They went from a low-income community to maybe middle-class community. So majority of Somalis right now, they are homeowners. They pay mortgage. So they are not when they came, where they were a refugee, taking social assistance. They passed that stage. But with that also comes problem of problem with identity. Most of these young kids right now, maybe the girls and boys who came 90s, like Habiba, they can speak Somali. But go, you're going to see generation after generation, they're losing this identity. Somalianism is not there. Islamism is not there. They are Canadian. I have no problem with Canadianism. That's what good I started with. I said integration. But also I don't like assimilation. I think what this kind of organization like is going to work on is to improve that cultural people has a culture. They came from a country that have a language that are rich culture. So I think that's very important. We have identity challenge. Some of our youth right now, they do not have that identity. So what do we do? We have to provide role model for the kids. Mentorship programs. We have to organize cultural and religious programs to strengthen their faith. And they have that connection to the root. And the last one is we should address the systematic issue like racist and Islamophobia that she was talking through education and advocacy. Advocacy is important. That's what she was telling us. Sister Amira was here. She said, you have to be advocacy. I don't want us, after 30 years still, are not in the front. We should be an advocacy for our youth. We should be a role model for these guys. Somali community right now, if you go to the federal government of Canada, the largest ethnic black community that works in the federal government of Canada are Somalis. But the problem we have now is they are not coming back and giving this mentorship. They are not coming back and giving this advocacy. So we need advocacy, political advocacy, religious advocacy, mentorship. All these things are very important that we need from the people, especially those so successful Somalis, to come back and give that mentorship to their young brothers and sisters who are not doing that well. And the last thing we need really, and this before Habiba shows up here, simple. As a religious man what I do every week is to teach religion. In our culture, religion is very important. And if you lose that identity of your Islam, then I think you're going to lose a lot of things with it. So we need an institution, in Canada especially, where there is a multicultural society, where people should be proud of their culture and where they came from, where people should be proud of their religion and who they are, like Sister Amira was telling here, right? We need to preserve the identity of our children's religious identity. And without that religious identity, I think we're going to lose a lot of things. So I think if we focus these 4 things, maybe not our generation, but the young brother. Before I came, I think this is my first time I'm speaking English for a lot of, normally I don't do that, right? Because all my people, like Sister and Khaltoon Musa, it was one of my students. Her son was one of my students. The guys on the board, some of my students. So what I do normally, I teach tafsir, I teach Quran, I teach these things. That's my primary things that I do normally. So, and I normally deal with the Somali community. I teach mothers, I teach fathers, but also I deal with their problems. When they have problems, they come to me. So I know a lot of the issue that goes behind the, curtain, they say, right? That's what I do. So Alhamdulillah, and I'm happy to be here today. I am happy, and I'm proud to Sister, Khaltoon and her sons and all those people who are working with. These are a great, project that they achieve. Less people achieve something. People, when you leave this world, you will have a legacy. So if they have this legacy, they say, okay, this is the Muslim. It's right now starting. But if community supports, and they, inshallah, don't give up because this is not easy job, right? You're trying to give culture to a people who don't even want to take this culture. You're forcing them, language, culture, museum, houses, all these things. That's not easy. But we don't have to also offer these things to our youth, but we also offer to the larger Canadian society who know nothing about Somalis. We need them to come to our museums and see that we are people who are proud of their root, who are proud of their culture, who have a rich culture. That's what we need. So inshallah, help the Sister Khaltoon and I think all of you who show up today to support this. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you.
Takbir, takbir, takbir.